Today I want to talk to you all about the dangers of driver fatigue. Uber and Lyft driver, this is very serious. Pay attention. Now, driver's fatigue. Um, driver's fatigue is not what you think I'm talking about. I'm not talking about driving too many hours, not getting enough sleep. The type of driver's fatigue that I'm talking about is mental exhaustion. A lot of drivers are suffering from driver's fatigue and they don't even know it. In this video, I'm going to give you some signs that will help you identify if you may be suffering from driver's fatigue. And I'm going to give you a few pointers on how to get some relief from driver's fatigue. Okay. Driver's fatigue is very dangerous because it can affect your life overall. Not just when you're out here driving and trying to make some money, but just in life general, it can affect your home life. If you got other employment, it can affect you on your other job. It can affect how you deal with people. Mental exhaustion is a very dangerous thing. And there's so many people that's suffering from mental exhaustion because, you're looking for answers for things and you don't have it. Now, from a driver's perspective, we get out here, we drive, and a lot of us are not making money. But we still come out here and we drive because we have a need for money. That pushes us over the top. You got to deal with the riders, different types of situations. The algorithm causing mental manipulation, doing mentally manipulative things to you. The trips, like you're not making any good money. You're spending more money in gas than you're actually making driving. You got life is happening, things that's going on in your personal life, worry and things of that nature, whatever it may be. All that stuff is just jumbled up in your brains. There's not too much of a release in there to rejuvenate you. A lot of drivers don't understand how to rejuvenate their minds because that determination to chase after that dollar based on your need doesn't allow you to relieve yourself of driver's fatigue. And I understand it because I went through it. Okay. You get out there, hey man, if I could just make $30 more, I'll be good for the day. If I can make another $50, I can be good for the day. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, after you make that $30 or $50, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get another $25 more or whatever. Or let me see if I can get me a big ride or whatever it is. Everything when you're suffering from, how to identify that you're suffering from driver's fatigue is you have a short fuse. The riders, the things that the riders say and do that's really not that serious is agitate you over the top. You become very defensive. You're jumpy at home. You're more confrontational. Um, you know, worry is just building even more and more. Um, the frustration with the platforms that you're driving on is just at an all-time high. You can't really get good sleep. You have to take some melatonin or some sleeping pills, because if you don't take those things to force your rest, your mind just races while you're trying to get some sleep. I mean, racing just like a race car. You know what I'm saying? You lay there, try to close your eyes, and everything is just playing back. All worries and things that you're going through on the job, the stuff that the algorithm is doing to you, and you're just overwhelmed, you know. And a lot of drivers don't because they're in pursuit to get out here and get that money, they overlook the driver fatigue and the mental exhaustion, you know. And it happened to me. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, right? This is how when I was in the Lyft Express Drive program. When you're in the Lyft Express Drive program, time is money. You can't miss no days. I didn't understand a lot at the time about the Lyft Express Drive program. I learned along the way. It was very complicated. It was a very complicated situation to be in. And I was barely making money. The cents per mile that you get paid is so low. It's almost difficult for you to earn if you're driving in a low demanded area. You get what I'm saying? I couldn't make it didn't make sense for me, but it was all I had. So the need for money put an urgency in me that pushed me, and it pushed me over the top. And then it got to the point where the people that was getting in the car, they were agitating me so bad with some of the things that they were doing. And I was just so frustrated because I could not believe some of the stuff that was happening to me as a driver, right? Then home, the little dates or whatever that I would have or whatever, you know, or they agitated me. I found myself not even wanting to keep company with them. If I wanted to get some rest, I tried to get some rest. If I didn't take any melatonin to go to sleep, my mind would just race. You know, I would drive 10 to 12 hours a day. They would kick me off the app. Because being in the Lyft Express Drive program, I used to have to make that make sense. And driving 10 to 12 hours a day was the way that I thought it would make sense. So not only was I fatigued physically, I was overly mentally fatigued. I did not understand driver's fatigue. And I had been suffering from it for probably about a year. One day, I had a complicated ride. And, I mean, that ride was very complicated. It was a person in a wheelchair that I picked up, and they needed a lot of help. And then they were agitated with me because I was not trying to do all of that because I'm not trained. And they did not understand that. And me explaining it to them, being frustrated, overwhelmed with the fact that my liability is at risk dealing with a person with a wheelchair that needs this much assistance. You know, I was just over the top. I was everything. Acceptance rate going down, sending me bad trips. Things was going so bad for me. I dropped that person off, and I was coming back down the road near where I dropped that person off. I was so mentally exhausted, I was getting ready to cry. So what I did was I saw a pop, and it had something like it's like a pond or something out there, whatever, right? So I pulled in that pop, and I went out there and I sat down. I sat in the car for a minute, and I had to take me a deep breath. I paused the app and I took me a deep breath. So I get out of the car, I go sit on the picnic table. And I sat there, man, and I probably cried for about 25, 30 minutes. Because I could not believe that I was that mentally exhausted. I sat there in that park that day for almost maybe an hour 30 to maybe 2 hours, getting fresh air and just relieving my mind as much as I could of what was going on a daily basis. That day when I got back in the car, I cut the app. The app it you know, I didn't cut the app back on. Okay. And I went home. That day I probably made $30. Okay. I went home and I rested the rest of that day. And I got me some rest, some sleep. I woke up the next morning, I felt like a brand new person. I couldn't understand why I wasn't feeling like I had normally been feeling. It was like I had a burst of energy. Like, it's almost like I had like a rejuvenated thought process. And it was amazing. The feeling was amazing. And I was like, I felt like I could challenge that day, and anything that came at me, I would have been ready for it. And then I realized that time that I took for myself, despite my need, is what helped me. And it won't be 2 hours. And then I just went on and said, you know what? I got $30 today. I'm going home. And I rest the rest of the day. People, this is what I'm telling you. If you don't understand that you're suffering, if you don't understand how to identify that you're suffering from mental fatigue, if you have urgency in you and your anxiety has been pushed to the limit, anything a person does or says to you while you're driving or at home agitates you and just pushes you over the edge. If you get into a situation that's some type of confrontation while you're driving, and when that driver gets out the car, it bothers you for 25 to 30 minutes down the road, you're suffering from driver's fatigue, mental exhaustion. Take some time for yourself. Find you somewhere quiet. Get you some fresh air. Hey man, that money out there ain't worth your mental capacity and sanity. It's not worth it. Take a day for yourself. Go do something. Go to Starbucks, drink your coffee. Go to the library, read a book in a quiet corner somewhere. Hey man, go get your feet done. You know, get your hair cut. Take the day for yourself, despite your financial need. Now I know that you're saying, well man, I need money and I got to make money every day because this is my need. That's what creating the mental exhaustion and the driver's fatigue in you that you can't identify. You know, some people will coin driver's fatigue as, hey man, I'm just a go-getter and I'm just going to go and I'm going to go hard as I can go. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and that's fine if that works for you. But it comes a time where you have to take time for yourself. You know, we have lives outside of being Uber and Lyft drivers and gig workers. And the life that we are dealing with outside of being a gig worker can be challenging. And you add all that into what you have, the things that you have to deal with mentally as an Uber or Lyft driver or as a gig worker, trying to make extra income, it can be overwhelming. Okay? So if you don't take any advice that I've given you all, okay, please take the time for yourself to calm down, get you some relaxation in there. Take a day for yourself. If even if you don't do anything to pamper yourself, go out somewhere in a field somewhere, take you a walk for an hour. You know, just go sit at a picnic area and where there's no one at. Get you some quiet. Go to a river. If fishing helps you, go out and fish. Take a day for yourself. Don't think at all or focus on anything about Uber and Lyft. The life that you have outside of Uber and Lyft, although that can be challenging and overwhelming, release it. If you are overly exhausted, it causes negative undertones, mental confusion. How are you going to earn money if that's going on? How are you going to make proper decisions if you're overly mentally fatigued and exhausted? In order to make good decisions and be satisfied with an outcome, you have to have clarity. And driver's fatigue, being mentally exhausted, doesn't give you the opportunity to have clarity. The chase for the dollar, to try to make all of this driving for hours make sense. No one wants to feel like they're being used. Everybody hates feeling stupid. Gig work makes you feel like that, especially to the millions of drivers out there that's not making money. To the other drivers that's doing pretty good, you have your moments. You ignore it because the money is pretty good, right? A lot of you all are suffering from mental exhaustion. But the dollar keeps you ignoring that mental, that driver's fatigue. You know, life is what you make it. And being an Uber and a Lyft driver and a gig worker, you're doing the best that you can because you're trying to fill a void without breaking the law, without reverting to things, getting into things that could jeopardize your freedom. You are being productive. Even if you don't get the respect that you deserve for being a gig worker. As an individual, you have to take time for yourself and your mental clarity. Uber and Lyft gonna keep sending you rides as long as you're out here. $2 and $3 for 15 miles. And you want to add another one in there while you're driving for an additional 50 cents. How they do all that bullshit, you know, and you saying to yourself, I can't believe they're sending me these types of trips. Oh my God. And then you get the riders in the car. They get up in here with the nasty dispositions and the bullshit ass demeanors and the bossy, assertive, bullshit they come in here with. Then you got all these situations that you got to deal with. The aggressive drivers in the street, the bad parking, trying to find somewhere so that you can pick these people up, driving in dangerous areas, don't know if you're going to make it out of there, trying to avoid certain types of trips, the prices of gas going up, you trying to make that make sense based on the money that you're making, it's all worry, frustration. And it causes mental exhaustion, which causes drivers fatigue. Take a moment for yourself. Love the gig worker or the Lyft or Uber or Lyft driver that's driving the car. Take a small win, even if you ain't made $7 today. But if you just can't get it together today, if coffee won't do it, energy drinks won't do it, then find you a clearing somewhere. Go out there and sit. Take you some deep breaths. Man, dedicate an hour to doing that every couple of days. This is going to help you more than you know. Hey, I left this video today because I felt a need to talk to you all about the dangers of driver's fatigue. Okay? I want you all to stay safe out there. I want you all to take a moment for yourself, because you are more than an Uber or a Lyft driver. I'm Rideshare Real Talk. And if somebody didn't tell you that they love you today, I do. I'm out.